alluded to the fact that we had, we onboarded the old manners we had before we had the new constitution. Yeah. And, the history can really teach us some things that during post-independent and throughout the regime before we got the constitution, the political nature that we had is that a president would campaign, and once they win the seat and once the government wins the seat, he or she has all this baggage behind him that he would want to satisfy post-election. And the only way to do this was possibly to look at which particular positions are there. Once someone ascends into position and would want to reward, those who are politically, loyal to him. And, we were oblivious that once we passed the new constitution, there were certain demands from that constitution that compels, government of the day or appointing authority to observe certain, qualifications or certain merits that should be considered in different political or rather appointment positions. Case that we have is in public service. And I think we have a problem in public service because the transition did not provide that we offload some of this particular baggage we had in public service. And therefore, you are looking at a situation where a government of the day would look at, okay, now that I get into this position, who is here that is left that has not been rewarded? And you can have a case that we had in CAS case, for example, that we had, that the court, spells itself, and you could see a number of people that were sent packing because the president wanted to get off this, to get rid of all this, baggage on his shoulders by just appointing people to unconstitutional positions. So, like Stella have said, the remnants that we are still having is what is still haunting us. That until yesterday, we are seeing one of the appointment in the Kenya Revenue Authority, an individual, that was not really given a position in form of legal, that was followed in a legal way, that did not meet merit, and that did not qualify the statutory requirement of the law, including the Constitution, violation of Chapter 10 of this Constitution, and Public Service Act. So, 2 days ago, we had Aisha Juma's case as well, where even the court just pronounced itself after a petition was signed. And so many cases that we are still having. So, I think it's I agree with Stella that could we have really a conversation of, as we head to this particular, regime transition each and every time, what happens to a head of state or an appointing authority, with regards to giving political positions based on merit. I'm not saying it's bad actually to apportion. Like we said, we have people who are qualified and people who can lead that position. But in doing so, there are things that should be considered. There are merit, there are constitution, and there are legality issues that we should look at across board. I think this will guide us as a country.
Yeah.
What is wrong, if anything, with appointing people who supported you to positions of execution?
I'm glad you asked, because even as Rogo was speaking, one of the things I was thinking about is that everybody who's appointing has to appoint from amongst their friends in their circle. And so servicing patronage networks may not necessarily be the main problem, but servicing patronage networks and appointing individuals who are not competent for the task that they are being appointed for is extremely problematic. I mean, if Orogo and I formed government in the coming days, it would be very easy for us to determine that the three of you may leave Spice and become part of our communications team, press service. And there will be nothing wrong with that because you're qualified for what we are appointing you for. But the moment you pick an individual who has no clue about what they need to be doing in the committee you're appointing them, you have picked Gaucho from wherever you've picked him from, and you want Kenyans to believe that he's going to serve the purposes of the platform you have appointed him on. I think that's problematic. I am on record as having indicated that our president is short of qualified, good friends who can do the work that needs to be done for government.
Oh, friends, not people.
Friends, people. Let's call them friends for now, but people. If you look at your circle, you should be able to find some qualified people to appoint. I mean, look at the level of people that were appointed by Kibaki. even the former President Uhuru appointed some quality people in government. There is nothing wrong with them appointing people, but appoint them in the spaces they are qualified for. Government is big. If someone is qualified to mop, please find a place and get them.
So there's a problem, a direct one with if I was the president, if I appoint the person who beat the drums loudest for me, who is, I don't know,
Stella.
Yeah, that then is not versed in the things of education, and I gave her the position, because this is what happens, because I could be very rudimentary about it, but that's exactly what happens. That right now, unfortunately, the situation is that I appoint somebody, they go through Parliament just does